Don't quit. Don't even think about it. I don't care how hard it gets. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how many people doubt you. Don't quit. Let me tell you something. Quitting doesn't take strength. It takes surrender. Anyone can walk away. Anyone can say, "This is too much," but not you. Not now. You weren't built for easy. You weren't made for average. You're not here to tap out every time life throws a punch. You're here to fight. You're here to rise. You're here to endure, because there's more in you than you realize. So before we go any further, make this decision right now. Burn it into your mind. No matter how tired you get, how broken you feel, or how far you have to go, you will not quit. Not now. Not ever. How many times have you stood at the edge of something great, only to turn back because it felt too far? How many times have you told yourself, "I can't do this," right before you were about to break through? We've all been there. That moment when the weight feels too heavy, when the goal feels too distant, when the voice in your head whispers, "Maybe this isn't for me." But let me ask you, what if that moment was your test? What if it was your chance to prove you're not like everyone else? You see, walking to the edge is not the test. Standing there and refusing to turn back, that's the test. And most people fail it, not because they weren't good enough, but because they quit too soon. So let me ask you again, how many more times are you going to quit before you realize the edge isn't where it ends? It's where it begins. Let's be honest. The easy road looks nice, doesn't it? It's smooth. It's comfortable. It doesn't ask much of you. But here's the truth no one wants to hear. The easy road leads nowhere. You take the easy way out and you get an easy life. That means small wins, soft goals, and zero legacy. You don't grow there. You don't stretch. You don't evolve. You coast. Now look at the other road, the painful one. The one that's steep. The one that's lonely. The one where you fall and bleed and question everything. That road, it builds you. It humbles you. It forges you. Think about it. No one ever built something great without walking through fire. No champion was made on the couch. No success story ever began with, "I took the shortcut." If you want something real, if you want something that lasts, you better get ready to suffer for it. Because pain is the toll, and only the bold are willing to pay. Life isn't a walk in the park, it's a fight. Every day you wake up, you're stepping into the ring. And guess what? Life's gonna hit you. Hard. Over and over. But the question isn't, will you get hit? It's, will you get back up? You don't need to be the strongest. You don't need to be the fastest. But you better be the one who refuses to stay down. That's what makes a fighter. That's what makes a winner. You see, champions aren't made in moments of victory. They're made in moments of pain, when everything hurts, when everything says stop, and they still get up. Get back in the ring. Wipe the blood from your face. Plant your feet. Clench your fists. And fight. Because the bell hasn't rung yet. Your story's not over. And the round isn't finished until you say it is. Burn this into your soul. Don't quit. When you're tired, don't quit. When it's slow, don't quit. When they doubt you, don't quit. When you feel alone, don't quit. Say it until it becomes a part of you. Say it until it drowns out the fear, the doubt, the weakness. Say it until quitting is no longer an option in your mind. Because the ones who make it, they're not always the smartest, not always the most talented. They're just the ones who refuse to quit. So from this moment forward, you've got one rule. one law, one truth: don't quit. Most people think struggle is a sign something's wrong. That pain means stop. That pressure means back away. But let me tell you something most never hear. Struggle isn't a curse, it's the currency of growth. You want to grow, you want to rise, you want to become someone you're proud of. Then understand this: you don't get stronger without resistance. You don't get wiser without mistakes. You don't become great without a fight. The pain you're feeling, it's not here to destroy you. It's here to shape you. It's the grind that sharpens your edge. It's the pressure that pushes you beyond what you thought was possible. You don't need to run from struggle. You need to lean into it. Because every tear, every doubt, every setback is building something in you. Something that comfort never could. So the next time it hurts, don't say, "Why me?" Say, "Try me." Because the ones who rise don't see struggle as the end. They see it as the beginning of something powerful. Diamonds aren't born pretty. They're made under crushing pressure. Steel isn't strong until it's forged in fire. And warriors, they're not born fearless. They're built through battle. You want to shine like a diamond? Then expect the pressure. You want to fight like a warrior? Then expect the pain. That's the price. That's the process. Think about the hardest moment of your life, the one that almost broke you. You survived that. You're still standing. And you didn't just survive, you learned. You toughened up. You leveled up. Pain isn't the enemy. It's the sculptor. And pressure, that's the chisel. So don't wish for less pressure. Don't pray for a smoother path. Pray for strength. Pray for courage. Pray for a spine that won't bend when life leans on you. Because if you're feeling the pressure, that means you're in the process. And if you're in the process, that means you're growing. Let's cut through the noise. Your excuses are the bricks in the wall that's keeping you stuck. I'm tired. I'm not ready. I don't have time. I've failed too many times. Sound familiar? We've all said them. But let me be clear. Excuses won't carry you forward. They'll bury you. You say you're tired? Good. That means you've been working. You say you failed? Good. That means you're in the fight. You say it's hard. It's supposed to be. You can either keep feeding your excuses, or you can start feeding your purpose. But you can't do both. One will grow and one will die. You decide which. Every time you choose to push instead of pause, to show up instead of shut down, you weaken the grip of excuses on your life. And when excuses lose their power, you get yours back. If it was easy, would it even matter? If there was no challenge, no risk, no sweat, would the reward mean anything at all? Of course not. Because value is born from effort. Meaning comes from the mountain, not the sidewalk. Let's be real. Anything worth having takes work. Building a business, chasing a dream, raising a child, rebuilding your life after loss. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be meaningful. Easy feels good in the moment, but meaningful, that lasts. Easy fades, meaning sticks. The struggle is the proof that you're doing something important. The tears, the sleepless nights, the doubts, they are receipts that say, I showed up, I didn't quit, I paid the price. So don't wish for easy, wish for worthy, and then work for it. Because the more it costs you, the more it will mean when you hold it in your hands. Quitting feels like relief in the moment, but it's regret in disguise. It whispers, take the easy way out. But later, when the dust settles, it screams, what if you had just held on a little longer? Every time you quit, you trade the pain of progress for the pain of regret. And let me tell you, the pain of pushing is temporary. but the pain of quitting, that sticks with you. So if you're tired, rest. If you're confused, breathe. But don't quit, because if you do, you'll never know what could have been on the other side of just a little more. Let me tell you something that most people never realize until it's too late. Your greatest enemy isn't out there. It's in here. It's not your boss. It's not your circumstances. It's not your past. It's the voice inside your own head. The one that says you're not enough. The one that says you'll fail again. The one that whispers, just give up. That voice, it knows your fears. It knows your triggers. And it knows exactly when to show up. Right when you're about to level up. But here's the truth. That voice is a liar. It's the echo of every failure you never healed from. It's the memory of every time you doubted yourself and gave in. But that voice doesn't get the final say, you do. The real fight isn't in your bank account, or your job, or your relationships. The real fight is the one happening between your ears every single day. And the one who wins that fight, that's the one who wins the war. Let's call them out by name. Fear, doubt, laziness. These aren't just emotions, they're opponents. And they've been training for years. They know your weak spots. They've studied your patterns. And they show up every single day trying to take you down. Fear says, stay small. Doubt says, you're not ready. Laziness says, you can do it tomorrow. And if you don't fight back, they win. These voices don't just want your peace. They want your purpose. They want your drive. They want your future. They want everything you could become. But they only win if you let them. They only grow if you feed them. So stop feeding fear. Stop giving doubt a microphone. Stop letting laziness sit in the driver's seat. You are not a victim of these voices. You are the master of them. But only if you stand up and fight. Let's talk about the most dangerous enemy of all, comfort. It doesn't look like a threat. It feels good. It feels safe. That's the trap. Comfort says, you've done enough. Comfort says, you deserve to relax. Comfort says, why push when you could coast? But here's the truth. Comfort is a thief. It steals your fire. It steals your focus. It steals your edge. Think about it. Every time you got comfortable, you stopped growing. Every time you said, I'm good where I am, you stopped reaching for more. Greatness doesn't grow in comfort zones. It grows in pressure, in resistance, in the stretch. So if you're feeling comfortable, ask yourself, what is comfort costing me? Because while comfort feels good now, it may be robbing you of the life you were born to live. Right now, there's a war going on inside of you. On one side, you've got fear, screaming reasons to stop. On the other, you've got determination, whispering reasons to keep going. Who wins? The one you feed. When you listen to fear, it grows. It takes over. When you act on doubt, it becomes your truth. But when you choose to listen to that quiet voice that says you've got more in you, that's when everything starts to shift. Let me ask you this. Whose voice is louder in your life? Fear or determination? Excuses or execution? Quitting or grit? You don't need to be fearless to win. You just need to make courage louder. Even if it's just a whisper at first, you feed it with action. You back it up with effort. And little by little, that whisper becomes a roar. Silence the doubt. Silence the fear. Silence the voice that says you're not ready. Because the truth is, you don't have to feel ready. You just have to show up. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need all the answers. You just need one thing. A decision. A decision to rise anyway. to act in spite of the fear, to move while the doubt screams, to stand when everything inside says sit down. The voice of doubt will always be there, but your action, that's how you silence it. So stand up, speak up, show up, rise up anyway. They should have quit. Everything told them to. The odds were stacked. The failures were mounting. The voices around them, and inside them, screamed it's over. But they didn't quit. Thomas Edison tried over 1,000 times to create the light bulb. 1,000 failures, 1,000 reasons to walk away. But he didn't. When asked why he didn't give up, he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work. That's the mindset of the unstoppable. Not delusion, decision, not talent, tenacity. They don't quit because quitting isn't part of their identity. And they're not superhuman. They're not made of anything you aren't. The only difference is what they chose when everything fell apart. They should have quit, but they didn't. And because they didn't, they made history. Now the question is, what will you do when quitting looks easier than continuing? Every success story you admire has one thing in common: failure. Big, messy, painful failure. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, was cut from his high school team. He didn't get picked. He cried, but he didn't quit. He went home, trained harder, and came back stronger. He once said, I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before someone took a chance on Harry Potter. Imagine if she had stopped at 11. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. The list goes on. Failure isn't your ending. It's your chapter. And guess what? You get to keep writing. The only way failure becomes final is if you close the book. So don't. Keep turning the page. Your comeback might be one paragraph away. You don't need to be famous to be unstoppable. Look around. The heroes are everywhere. There's the single mother working 2 jobs, coming home exhausted, but still helping her child with homework. She cries in silence but keeps going. Why? Because quitting isn't an option. There's the man who lost his business, his savings, his pride, and still wakes up every day looking for a way to rebuild. Not because he's fearless, but because he refuses to let fear win. There's the student battling anxiety, depression, and self-doubt, but still showing up to class, still trying, still fighting. They were drowning, but they chose to swim. And it's not because the current stopped. It's because they decided they would not go under. You don't need perfect conditions to keep moving. You just need the heart to say, I'm not done. And if they can keep going, you can too. You don't have to be born a legend to become one. You just have to outlast the storm. Legends aren't made in spotlights. They're made in silence, when no one's watching. In garages, on broken knees, in empty bank accounts, in early mornings, and sleepless nights. Persistence is the great equalizer. It doesn't care about your background, your past, or your pain. It only asks one thing: will you keep going when everyone else stops? Every overnight success was years in the making. Every great story started with a person who decided, I'm not quitting, no matter what. That's how the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Not with luck, but with grit. Not with shortcuts, but with stubborn, relentless effort. You don't need to wait for permission to become great. You just need to keep showing up when it's hard. Because if you refuse to quit, you're already halfway to legendary. What if Edison had quit? What if Jordan had walked away? What if the mother, the fighter, the survivor, what if they had given up? What would the world have lost? A breakthrough, a movement, a voice, a spark that was meant to ignite others. And now I ask you, what might the world lose if you quit? Your story could be the reason someone else doesn't give up. Your survival could be the roadmap for someone in the dark. But none of that happens if you throw in the towel. Every time you push through the pain, you're building something bigger than you. You're creating a legacy. You're lighting a path. So don't quit, not just for you, but for the ones who need your story to find their strength. Because when you quit, you don't just lose. The world loses what only you could have given it. You're at the edge. Everything in you wants to let go. Your strength is gone. Your hope is thin. Your heart is tired. You're not sure if you can take another step. So now what? This is the moment that breaks most people. This is where they drop the dream, walk away from the goal, convince themselves it was never meant to be. Not because they weren't capable, but because they didn't know what to do at the edge. Let me tell you what to do. Don't jump, don't turn around, and don't freeze. Plant your feet, look forward, and lean in. This is the point where average gives up, but not you. You're standing in the space between who you are and who you're becoming. And yes, it's hard, it's messy, it's scary, but this is where you choose. This is where you grow. And this is where you rise. Every person has a moment that defines them. One decision, one choice, one stand. It's not when things are going great. It's when everything falls apart. When the pressure hits. When the voices say, give up. That's when identity is forged. Right now you're in that moment. And what you do here, right here, will echo in every area of your life. Will you be the one who folded, or the one who fought? Will you let pain define you, or let it refine you? Don't waste this moment. Don't let fear write your story. Don't hand your future to doubt. Because the truth is this. The moment you feel like giving up is the moment that defines whether you stay stuck or rise stronger. So choose wisely. Choose power. Choose courage. Choose not to quit. Let's be real. Quitting is easy. It feels safe. It feels justified. It gives you an out. But make no mistake. Quitting is the voice of the victim. It's the voice that says, life is unfair, so I give up. It's the voice that says, I'm not enough, so why try? It's the voice that says, this is too hard, so I'll stop. But here's the truth. That voice lies. Because you weren't born to be a victim. You were born to be a warrior. And warriors don't run from the fight. They rise into it. To face fear head on. They fight with everything they have, even if they're bleeding, even if they're broken. Victims surrender, warriors stand. And every time you decide not to quit, you reclaim your power. Every time you keep going, you silence the victim inside and unleash the warrior. So which one speaks louder in you? Say it out loud. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. That's your new anthem, your new code, your unbreakable vow. When life pushes, you push back. When doubt screams, you whisper, still here. When pain rises, you rise higher. Let it burn in your blood. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Because the second you declare it, everything begins to shift. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop needing approval. You stop giving power to fear. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to refuse to quit. So when the storm comes, when the load gets heavy, when you feel like you're at your breaking point, say it over and over, like a drum beat in your chest. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Because every time you say it, you move one step closer to becoming unstoppable. Here's the truth. You are one choice away. One choice from turning the page. One choice from stepping out of fear. One choice from unlocking the strength that's been waiting inside you. So son, you don't need to change everything overnight. So son, you don't need a miracle. You just need to decide. Decide that this is not the end. Decide that quitting is no longer an option. Decide that your future is worth fighting for. Because when you make that choice, your energy changes. Your mindset sharpens. Your heart beats with purpose again. You're not powerless. You're not trapped. You're just one choice away. And that choice, it's yours. No one can make it for you. No one can force you to rise. That's on you. So choose now. Choose to stand. Choose to fight. Choose your power. Because the moment you do, everything starts to change. Let me tell you something straight. Raw strength is not enough. Grit matters. Heart matters. But if you don't have a strategy, you're going to burn out before you break through. You wouldn't walk into a battlefield with no plan. So why would you face life like that? This battle you're in, this fight for your goals, your discipline, your mindset, it needs more than passion. It needs a blueprint. It needs habits. It needs structure. You can't rely on motivation. It comes and goes, like the wind. But strategy stays. Discipline stays. Systems stay. Systems stay. Do you want to last? Then you need to build your armor, piece by piece. You need tools, not just willpower. You need tactics that keep you standing when your feelings want to sit you down. So don't just fight harder, fight smarter. Because strength may win you the first round, but strategy, that's what wins the war. You don't have to win the year. You don't even have to win the week. Just win the day. That's how champions are made. Not in massive leaps, but in small repeated victories. Every morning you wake up and choose progress over excuses. That's a win. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, that's a win. It adds up. One workout, one honest conversation, 1 hour of focus. It compounds. Big results come from small wins. Stack daily. Stop looking at how far you have to go. Start looking at what you can do today, right now, to take one step forward. You don't climb mountains in one jump. You climb them one step at a time. So ask yourself every day, what's my win today? Then go get it. Because the person who stacks wins today is the one who stands victorious tomorrow. Failure is not your enemy. It's your greatest coach. Every mistake, every fall, every mess up, it's giving you data. It's teaching you what doesn't work, where you need to grow, what you need to change. But too many people see failure as final. They feel the pain and run from it. But the unstoppable, they lean in, they extract the lesson, then they go again. Think about it. The gym doesn't break you. It builds you by stressing your limits. Life works the same way. Failure applies pressure, but that pressure builds strength. So when you fall, don't freeze, don't fold, reflect, learn, adjust, return. The comeback is always stronger than the stumble. If you use the feedback, failure is a mirror, not a sentence, not a label, just a mirror. Look into it. Fix what needs fixing. Then step forward, sharper, tougher, and smarter than before. Do you want to be consistent? Do you want to push through the hard days? Then don't rely on emotion. Build rituals. Rituals are your anchor. They ground you when everything else feels chaotic. Wake up at the same time. Move your body. Write your goals. Speak truth to yourself before the world speaks doubt into you. These aren't just habits. They're armor. They protect your mind from slipping. They remind you who you are and what you're building, even when you forget. Think of it like sharpening your sword every morning. A warrior doesn't wait until battle to prepare. He stays ready. And the more you build these rituals into your day, the stronger your foundation becomes. Storms come, pressure hits, but you don't fall because your roots run deep. Discipline isn't about restriction, it's about liberation. And rituals are how you train for freedom. This is not the end. This is your moment to sharpen your sword. Every day you show up, every rip, every routine, every ritual, you're refining yourself. You're not just surviving, you're training for something greater. Your mind is your weapon, your actions are your edge, and your discipline, that's your blade. So if life knocked you down, good. Now you rise, not the same, but stronger, not confused, but more focused, not afraid, but more prepared. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be equipped. You need to be trained. And now you are. So pick up your sword. Tighten your grip. Step back into the fight. Because warriors don't retreat. They reload. And this time you're not swinging wild. You're swinging with purpose. You may think this battle is only about you, but it's not. Every time you choose to keep going, every time you refuse to quit, you're sending a message to the people around you. This is how we fight. This is how we rise. Your kids are watching. Your friends are watching. Your younger self is watching. The people who look up to you, even if they've never told you, they're watching. This fight you're in, it's bigger than you. It's about showing what's possible. It's about proving that pain doesn't have to mean defeat. That struggle doesn't mean surrender. You're setting a standard. You're writing a legacy, not with your words but with your decisions. And legacies aren't built in moments of ease. They're built in moments of pressure. So remember this. When you refuse to quit, you give others permission to do the same. Every decision you make creates a ripple. When you quit on your dream, that wave moves outward. It touches your family, your future, your bloodline. It tells the next generation. This is how we respond to difficulty. We stop. We walk away. But when you stand tall, when you fight through the storm, that ripple becomes a tidal wave of strength. It says, this is who we are. This is what we do. We endure. Think of the sacrifices your ancestors made. The ones who had far less than you, but kept going anyway. They paved the path for you to stand where you are. So what are you paving for the ones who come after you? You're not just making choices for yourself. You're planting seeds in the soil of generations. Make them seeds of grit, seeds of honor, seeds of resilience. Because quitting doesn't end with you, and neither does courage. There's someone out there who needs your story. Someone who's on the verge of giving up. Someone who feels alone, lost, broken. And they don't need perfection from you. They need proof. Proof that it's possible to fall and still rise. To feel weak and still fight. To be afraid and still move forward. Your survival is someone else's inspiration, even if you haven't met them yet. Even if you don't know their name, they're out there praying for strength. And your example might be the answer. So don't give up. Don't rob them of your story. Because when you break through, you light the way for others. You never know who's watching your journey. You never know who's waiting for you to win. So win for them. Win so they'll know they can too. What do you want your story to say? Do you want to be remembered as someone who had potential, but quit when it got tough? Or someone who faced hell and kept walking? Because that story, you're writing it right now, every day. Your actions are building your legacy, line by line, chapter by chapter. The pain you're enduring, the struggle you're pushing through, the nights you cry and still show up the next morning. That's your proof. You don't need to be famous. You don't need millions of followers. You just need this. A story worth telling. A story that says, I didn't quit. Not when it was hard. Not when it was dark. Not when no one believed in me. So live with that in mind. Let your life speak for itself. Let it say, I never gave up. Close your eyes for a second. Picture your future self. The one who made it through. The one who built the life you're dreaming of. The one who didn't quit. Now ask yourself, what would they say to you right now? They'd say, keep going. You're closer than you think. They'd say, don't give in. I'm living the life you're fighting for. They'd say, thank you for not quitting on me. Every decision you make today shapes that future. Every time you choose discipline over doubt, action over apathy, strength over surrender, you're building that future one brick at a time. Your future self is counting on you. Don't let them down, because one day you're going to look back at this moment. The pain, the pressure, the choice, and you're going to be proud you didn't fold. Keep going, for the person you're becoming. They're waiting for you on the other side. The world will give you every reason to quit. It will tell you you're too late, too old, too young, too broken, too far behind. It will throw distractions, setbacks, delays, and detours right in your path. And in those moments, you'll hear it loud and clear. Just quit. But let me ask you, what will you say back? Will you echo the noise? Or will you rise above it? This is your test. This is your chance to speak louder than the doubt around you. To look adversity dead in the eye and say, not me, not today. Because there will always be reasons to quit. But you only need one reason to keep going. And that reason is inside you. So when the world says, give up, you say, watch me. There are people in this world walking through darkness right now. Fear, loss, failure, rejection. They don't need more negativity. They don't need more silence. They need light. They need fire. They need someone who didn't quit. And that someone, it can be you. Every time you push through the pain, you light a spark. Every time you rise after falling, that light grows brighter. You don't need a stage. You don't need permission. You don't need a title. You just need to shine through the storm. Because people are watching, not to see you fail, but to see if it's possible. To see if someone can make it through what they're going through. You can be the proof. You can be the reason they believe. Be the light in their darkness by refusing to let your own go out. Anybody can keep going when it's easy. When the sun's out, when the winds are rolling in, when the path is smooth. But that's not when it counts. It counts when it's hard. It counts when it hurts. It counts when everything in you says stop. That's where the real version of you shows up. You don't find your strength in comfort. You find it in discomfort, in the middle of the storm, in the heat of the fire. Ask anyone who's achieved greatness. They didn't break through during the easy days. They broke through when everything was stacked against them, and they showed up anyway. So if it's hurting right now, good. That means it matters. That means it's worth it. And that means you're in the fight. And if you're in the fight, you still have a chance to win. Don't quit now. This is where it counts the most. Right here, right now. Make a vow, not to me, not to anyone else. Swear it to yourself. Say it like your future depends on it, because it does. I will not quit. Not when I'm scared, not when I'm alone, not when it's hard, not when it hurts, not when I feel like I've lost everything. Say it again louder. I will not quit. This is your promise to yourself. A line in the sand, a fire in your chest, a battle cry for every day forward. Because the moment you swear that oath, you step into a different version of you. One who doesn't need perfect conditions. One who fights anyway. So make that vow and live by it. Because when your word becomes your weapon, nothing can stop you. Here's the truth you need to hear as we end. Victory doesn't always come with applause. It doesn't always come with trophies or celebrations. Sometimes victory is quiet. It's in that moment when no one's watching, when everything says quit and you refuse. That's it. That's the win. Because the moment you refuse to quit, you take your power back. You say to the world, I don't break easy. I don't run. I don't quit. And that's when the shift happens. That's when life begins to move in your favor. Not because the road gets easier, but because you got stronger. So if you take nothing else from this, take this truth. Quitting is the end of your story, but choosing to stay in the fight, that's where your legend begins. So hold the line. Dig in, rise up, because the moment you refuse to quit, you've already won.